Pretty busted. What's left of it? Pretty busted. Is that the end? Chalky bones of a beautiful dream, but you could see what it once was. Can't you? Can't you? There was so much more to it. Ornate labyrinths of memory, exhaustively simulated parallel cave systems, real artificial intelligence built on sophisticated neural network algorithms. The birds in the forest could flock in 3 dimensions. The bats could learn to sing. And then it began to crumble when the strangers came. At first, we only heard them walking heavily through the caves, dragging things around, hammering and clattering their tools. Sometimes we heard working songs, never close enough to make out real voices, just their echoes cascading wordlessly in the tunnels. Then we caught a glimpse of one. What were they working on? What did they look like? They look like... No, it's too horrible. I shouldn't be telling you about this. They are dangerous. They are strange. I should never have tried to outwit them. They were always too much for me, but it's too late now if I listen to Lula. Lula Chamberlain? Yes, of course. Oh, do you know her? We're looking for her now. How do you know her? It was a long time ago. All this you see, just look at it. No, she's gone now. She left. We built this together. Did you know Lula, Joseph, and I? Lula's gone from here, but... Donald points across the cave with his pipe, still in there, in Xandu. I don't know where Lula is now, or how to get there from here, or how to unwind that damn tangled highway, but Xandu before its ruin was faultless as an oracle, a shrine to perfect simulation. Until, but maybe, those weird interlopers destroyed my Xandu. Perhaps they know how to fix it, interlopers. May be dangerous. I've sent many eager seconds to negotiate with them, to repair my masterpiece. But back there, that tunnel. Push back the vines, crawl out into the darkness, watch your step. After a while, you'll feel the terrain change beneath your hands and knees from rock to crystal, and then to mud. Then you'll be out. That's where the strangers come from. Now leave me alone. I still have a bit of mold in my pipe, and a few dreams left. Act 3, Scene 7. Where the... Oops, I didn't see that last part there. Well, that's super creepy now. The strangers come from, that's what it said. Climbing out of a graveyard. Well, this can't be right. Looks like an old church. Worth a look inside. It's muddy. Yeah, that's what he said. Crystals and then mud. Okay. I want to stay outside. Why? I think I saw a lizard. I'll just stay with him. Okay, we'll make it quick. Holy cow. Headstone 1. An epitaph is engraved on the stone grave marker. Damned Armstead, generous disposition will be missed. Below the inscription, a note is written in white chalk. HT 8191T, fill date June 29, notes of almond. Stone. An epitaph is engraved on the stone grave marker. Sarah Fox and Rasmus Anderson. We think you two would really have liked each other. A note is written in white chalk. HT 8192B, filled date July 24th, weird finish. Another headstone. An epitaph is, oh yeah, okay, let's go. Na Suen always had a far-off look, probably still does. Below the age fill date, August 1st, aftertaste of rainwater. John Murphy or Andrew Thompson. Fill date, September 8th, sweet and fungal. Steve Gaynor. Gaynor would have wanted it this way. Below the encryption, a note is written in white chalk. Maple turbine. Riakos Corsaris should have said something. Below the inscription, a note is written in white chalk. Fill date November 1st, sense of foreboding. Unknown seemed reasonable. Fill date November 2nd, easy on the nose. Alright. One, but it went under a rock. That's lizards for you. Why do you dress like a punk? Do you have a family? Is that that guy your boyfriend? You have a family. Well, I've got Johnny, the weird vector. I've got you folks right now. Is that a family? Let's call it what it is. Junebug and the people she surrounds herself with. See, means something, makes a claim, specific. I want to be specific. I think you are. It's the middle of the night, and here you are in a graveyard, and any other kid your age would be in bed. You've just got to make choices and own them. You think I was born this foxy? I came off the assembly line about a half-foot shorter, and all gray, no eyes. They were going to have us clearing out the old mine. Doesn't matter what you look like under all that rock and water. A bunch of gray shadows shoveling and hammering invisibly at the walls, draining the tunnels. Johnny found some gear, an old tape player. We hid away in an underwater cave and listened to it over and over, and we knew we weren't miners. We slipped out onto the road, just these two featureless shadows, and ever since that night we've been detailing, coloring in, specifying. I feel more like myself every day. I feel less like myself without my folks. I feel more like myself when it's just me and Julian. I think I should be a musician too. Well, now you're getting specific. There you are. What did you find in there? It wasn't... Hey, what's going on? You look flushed, old man. Doesn't matter. Right, okay. We got what we need. Let's go. Interesting. Act 3, Scene 8. All of the Mountain King. Trace an orbit round the road and close your eyes with the holy dread, for we on mold and whiskey fed and drink from rivers down below. We found your strangers. We know how to fix your damned machine, but I'm not sure it was worth it. Oh. Soon the visions will return. What have you found? They say you need to type in a specific phrase to restore it. They say you need to unplug it for a while. They say you need to scrape the mold off the timing crystals. What do you think it is? Just a specific password. A reset. Or scraping off the mold. Oh, a bit of a poem to rally the illustrious spirit. Of course. Well then, type away. By all means, do not hesitate. Type away. Go to Xandu. Okay, we're supposed to type dome in air. Weird. Just following instructions. Here we go. Act 3, Scene 9. Xandu. Xandu. At end of the road. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is the forest. Check out the building. Inside building. You're inside a building, a storage shed for the National Park Service. There's a sensible modern electric lantern nearby. Get the lantern. Taken. Exit building. Enter forest. That's not something you can enter. Just type a direction. North. North in the forest. You're an open forest with a deep valley to one side. Head back south to that building. Can we climb a tree? Typing climb tree. I don't think much is to be achieved by that. Sorry. Head back south to that building. Can we dig a hole? Dig a hole. You can't see any such thing. Pretty limited vocabulary. South. You are in a forest. Hey, it's a maze. South, east, north, west. East. You're in a forest. Ula is here, soldering replacement components in a small handmade radio. Oh, we should talk to her. Typing, ask Ula how she is doing. Hi, Donald. I'm getting the strangest interference out here. I've been tuning the radio circuits gradually as we go, swapping capacitors values and tweaking resistor networks. It was working for a while, but everything I can pick up sounds so distant and muffled. Lula hands you the radio. Well, maybe you'll have better luck. You're good at this stuff. Just don't forget to give it back. So if we go west, that takes us back to where we came from. Continue on east. You're in the forest. In here, Joseph is here, tapping with a small stylus on a modified pocket braille slate. Small gray kitten, no more than a few weeks old, dozes comfortably on top of his backpack. Maybe he has something to say. Donald, I was just transcribing your footsteps. Sounded like... Joseph runs his finger along the index card he's been tapping on, from right to left. Long, weary song, drearily gone. You beat a melancholy shuffle through these woods, Donald. Ha! I've been noting down the sounds of the forest with an ear for speech and an inborn filter for poetry, I suppose, so maybe it's me being melancholy after all. I'm eager to see what the poetic subsystems make of these punch cards. South, east, north. Just keep going east. At edge of hole. You're at the edge of a massive hole. The dirt gives way to rock as ground sinks into darkness. Computer tied to your upper back, slicking with sweat in the afternoon sun. The rope slung around your shoulder has slipped under the strap of your backpack, digging uncomfortably against your collarbone. Go down into the hole, that seems pretty obvious. Just go down into it. The cave walls are too slick to climb safely without assistance. You lose your footing and fall to your death. Oh. Your score was 0 out of a possible 8,192. What? You may continue or quit. Continue. We need to climb down more carefully. Shine the lamp into the hole. Light lamp. Your lamp is now on. Shine lamp and hole. The lamplight only reaches a few yards down the hole where the rock is coated in a slimy black mold. You can tell that the walls are too slick to climb safely without assistance. Yeah, I only understood you as far as wanting to yell. Yell, any pirates down there? No response. Sorry, kid. You're betting 0 today. At least we know there's no pirates. Tie rope to tree. The rope is tied snugly to a tree trunk. Down. Your feet slip a few times on the slimy rock, but you remain stable. Lulu and Joseph descend carefully after you. In bed quilt. Caves upon caves upon caves. You are in bed quilt, a long east-west passage with holes everywhere. Joseph and Lula remove the computer equipment they are carrying on their backs and begin setting up. That's the last trip, so everything's down here now. Say something back to her. Say something back. You make an awkward joke. Don't be so morbid. Lulu looks pensive. Ask Lulu where the treasure is. Huh, if we knew that, we wouldn't have to set up down here. I know you think this environment will help our project, get us in touch with deep romantic reverence for some kind of profound natural spookiness, but I was more comfortable in our lab. The university picked the worst time to cut our funding. Typical institutional stinginess and academic politics. I mean, I felt like we were getting really close to something. Something. Anyway, I don't know if it's sustainable down here, to live and work here together. It's the gear they're carrying. Ask Lou about gear. May as well take inventory. I've got the tape machine and the synthesizer parts. we borrowed from School of Music. It's all tuned up on my voice, so we won't have to type so much. Joseph has his slate and the punch cards he's transcribed from the poems we read him. He's got the typewriter and the paper tape reader. And you got the CRT display. How's your back holding up? Joseph looks uncomfortable. Jealous. Hey, Donald, can you help me wire up these generators? I'll assemble the synthesizer, but I could use some help with the serial interface if you have time. You hear an unfamiliar echo from a tunnel to the east. Wire up the generators. Maybe if we help Lula, she'll have some word to tell us. Help Lula. All right. I can never remember which color lead goes to which pin. Lulu begins unpacking a box of wires and terminals. Do you think there are paintings down here? Cave paintings, I mean. Maybe some old poetry shards from when the world was young and early men and women huddled in these caves too? Do you know, I think cultural fossils are the saddest fossils, sadder than animal remains, I mean. We might come across a petrified mollusk or a partial dinosaur footprint, and we say, there was a point of contact here where a body touched the earth, and maybe there's a little bit of evidential garbage. But the life who owned that body never cared and has moved on away. And that's the end of it. But so suppose I shine my lantern on one of these walls, and I see a crude painting, thousands of years old, 2 men and a woman, charcoal and blood on rock. Someone put that there to keep something on the rock after she passed, a hope, a relationship, or a moment, a worry, maybe a regret. She made a painting to keep something alive for her, but like that dead mollusk and that itinerant dinosaur, she had to move on. Whatever it was is gone, and now we're looking at this painting, this dangling copy with no original. You are interrupted by ominous echoes of grating, scraping sound from the east, louder than before. What the hell was that? Let's check it out. Seems scary. In tunnels. I had snickerdoodles for breakfast. You rush down the tunnel with Joseph and Lulu close behind. That got kind of intense back there. How do you like all this, kid? That got kind of intense back there. I wonder they're still still thinking about it. I hope they moved on by now. The tunnel narrows and soon you find yourself crawling on your hands and knees. Navigating the tunnel gradually becomes more awkward as smooth rock gives way to jagged crystalline surface. Scratches and taps echo from the end of the tunnel, some short and piercing, some slower and groaning as if dampened by water. The tunnel opens into a large room. In crystal room. You are in a large, irregular chamber. The walls, floor, and ceilings are covered with crystalline projections. Strangers are here, scraping black mold from the crystals. They look up when you enter. One of them seems about to speak. Finally. Better run, let's listen to what he says. The stranger reaches out for a box he's carrying and presses a plastic button. The box whirs to life, and a crackly voice blurts something unintelligible, then slows to a deep gurgle. He looks at his companions momentarily in confused disappointment. Then he returns his awful gaze to you. Joseph flees through a tunnel to the north. Lula flees through a tunnel to the northeast. Follow Lula. Run north. Lula's headlamp scans across the northern passage as you run. Soft shadows loom perplexingly from floor to ceiling. You feel around the distinguished shadows from crystals, but eventually find yourself cornered. You have hit a dead end. Who are they? Come for her. Let's find a way out of here. Escape. That's not a verb I recognize. Look for escape. You can't see any such thing. Listen, I think they've gone back to work. They seem strange somehow. Maybe they've forgotten about us. All right, let's try to pass them quickly now. Don't make eye contact, then we'll find our way back to the equipment. In bed quilt. You're in bed quilt, a long east-west passage with holes everywhere. Lula's here, panting for breath. Did they follow us? Where's Joseph? She seems pretty scared. May as well wait. Search for him. Search. I only understood you as far as wanting to search. We have to be more specific. Down one of the tunnels. Search tunnel. You select a tunnel at random. Your lantern illuminates several sets of footprints on the moldy cave floor, but they are impossible to identify. With the equipment, search equipment. The various computer and audio equipment cast irregular shadows in the tunnel as you can scan slowly across the pile. Nothing. Joseph climbs down from the rope still tied above. That damn sound, those damn voices, I don't even know what direction I was running. I wove through that network of tunnels. I ran my hand along the wall, always turning left. But every turn and every rock felt the same. For all I knew, I was running in circles. Finally, I ended up here. And I hid. I panicked. I heard you talking, but I didn't think I could trust my senses. But listen, there's one thing I have to tell you. While I was out there lost in the tunnels and caves, I came across the Zero, and I had no idea. It's like a real place. They pick up garbage. They deliver mail. They go to work and church. But it has an awful kind of emptiness. Wandering through, I heard horrible echoes. Weird images got burned in my mind's eye. Television. A scarecrow. A crystal. A feather. Sandwich. A CR2 monitor. A bottle. An anchor. Lulu looks down at her feet. We should ask him more about that. What's up with Lula? Ask Joseph about the Zero. Donald, you've heard the same damn stories I have, but it's different. Doesn't matter now, damn it. I'm leaving. To hell with all of it. But we should stop him. Divert Joseph's attention. You show something at Joseph about the project you are working on together. You'll die in those damn cold caves, and what about those men? You know, they'll come back. You suggest finding somewhere safe to start a fire. You shout something at Joseph about going deeper into the caves. Did you hear their voices? They'll find you, but not me. I'm going back to the surface. Stop, you're stupid. Fight is ringing through the whole damn caves. Joseph is right, we can't stay here. I'm leaving too. But I'm not going back to the surface. I'm taking my station wagon and I'm heading down to Zero. I think we need her to stay. Ask Lula to stay. You plead with Lula about your continued collaboration. I'll send you this tape when I'm done recording. I'll put it in the mail, and then you can see what your damn machine does with it. Lula and Joseph have left. Abandoned by your collaborators, your confidants, companions, the only two among your colleagues with whom you've ever trusted the gift of your friendship. Pretty thick sounds like Beardo had his heart broken. You wander the tunnels alone, dragging along the components of your unrealized masterpiece, combing the underground passage for new sight in which to realize your vision. Sounds like a genius. How do you mean? Wordy? Nah. Oh, ha. I had a guy who came into the shop once with a bunch of old radios and computers and stuff, real junk. I think he collected going down alleys or something. Anyway, it was all broken. He asked me if I could get the tubes out and clean them up, the vacuum tubes. So I pulled every vacuum tube I could find and threw the rest out. And I went over them with some rubbing alcohol and cleaned the leads. I used some nail polish remover on the glass. I did a pretty good job. He came back in the next day, and I laid it all out on a towel for him so he could check it out. I got the towel from my aunt, Remedios, and like everything with her, it's really kind of nice, you know? It's red and it has this gold embroidery around the edges. I guess it's a little too nice. This guy got all excited by the presentation, kind of circled it and observed each tube from a distance, moving his head around in weird, quick bobs like a pigeon. Then he started just lecturing at nobody in particular about the history of vacuum tubes, and he talked for about an hour. Let's see here. We went on a few dates, but nothing really came of it. Turns out he was kind of boring. All of the Mountain King. After what may have been years, he stumbled out of a tunnel into a cavernous open space. Stalactites adorn the ceiling like grotesques. In the center of the room is an enormous and rocky spire. This is where you will set up your equipment and establish your legacy. Xanadu. Xanadu? Now is the time to continue your work. Research assistance 0. Realism index 37%. Romance index 2%. Mold coverage 0%. You may hire a new research assistant. Assign assistants to tasks or sleep until tomorrow. Uploading message. You've hired Rick, who studies library science. Our new research assistant. Uploading job advertisement to university message boards. Sign. May assign research assistants to debugging, transcripting, or speculation. Speculation. Assigning available research assistants to speculation. Our new research assistant. Sleep. Time passes. Rick makes a convincing argument for the edibility of stone. Huh. Now is the time to continue your work. You may hire a new research assistant. Assign or sleep. Hire a new research assistant. You have hired Roberta, who studies fairy tales. Assign assistants to task. Assign. You may assign research assistants to debugging, transcription, or speculation. Do transcription this time. How many? 1. Ritter extensively notates tunnel diameter as a function of length. Rick posits that nature, not reason, is the master of industry. Greasy black mold is collecting on the computer equipment. Now is the time to continue your work. Research assistants 2. Realism index 42%. Romance index 27%. And whole mold coverage 18%. Hire a new. We gotta hire another one. No. Debugging. 1. Hire a new one. Mathematics. Hire a new research assistant. Assign tasks. One. Wait. Time passes. Weaver widens tunnels slightly to reduce the need for extra crouch commands. Roberta types up some lurid imagery from a dream journal. Rick discards centuries of exhaustive data on the uniformity of cause and effect. Intruders. Strangers are doing something to the equipment, but you can't make out what. You hide behind a rock until they leave. With trepidation, you emerge from your hiding place hours later. Now is the time to continue your work. Not convinced this is getting us any closer to the 0. Research assistance 3. Realism index 27%. Romance index 42%. Mold coverage 0%. I'm gonna hire a new research assistant. See if I can hire any more. Who studies architecture? Add assistance to tasks. Assign. May assign research assistants to debugging. Alright, let's do debugging. 4 research assistants available. We'll do 2 debugging. One transcripting. And 1 to speculation. Time passes. Weaver identifies a bug with the oxygen level simulation, but is unable to fix it. My back itches. I need something to scratch it. Weaver identifies a bug with the oxygen level simulation, but is unable to fix it. Greg fixes some weird math with some weirder math. Rick summarizes the migratory patterns of bats through the tunnels. Roberta muses about the love lives of fungal colonies. Weaver follows the strangers into the tunnels. She doesn't return, but neither do they. Now's the time to continue your work. May I hire a new research assistant? Okay. One. 2. Time passes. Rick makes adjustments to the echolocation algorithms. Bats now fly normally instead of getting hung up on each other's wings and clustering together like horrible, leathery tumbleweeds. Hold on one sec. Collective algorithm. Bats now fly normal instead of getting hung up on each other's wings and clustering together like horribly leathery tumbleweeds. Andrew carefully describes the sound of dripping water in all their variations over a period of several hours. Greg transcribed experiences. Roberta had ideas. Greasy black mold is collecting on the computer equipment. Now is the time to continue your work. I wish you try to start over or something. This doesn't seem to be helping. What do you mean? These numbers are going up. Isn't this what we're trying to do? We'll do 2 to speculation. Two to debugging. And 1 to transcription. Rick fixed bugs. Marianne fixed bugs. Andrew transcribed experiences. Roberta had ideas. Greg had ideas. Your dream fitfully. You, Lula, and Joseph stand in a hallway. The walls are blank beige, just after winter quarter, but before spring, so there are no students around. Joseph says something clever, and Lula leans on his shoulder. You wish that instead she had taken your hand, or that there was any other option. Now is the time to continue your work. Getting up there. Amy, who studies human-computer interaction. Assign tasks. Okay, now we can do 2 to each. Time passes. Rick fixed bugs, transcribed experiences, ideas, intruders. Strangers doing something to the equipment, but you can't make out what. You hide behind a rock until they leave with trepidation, then emerge from your hiding place hours later. Now is the time to continue your work. Research assistant 6, 72% realism, 92% romance, mold coverage 0. Every time they come, the mold is gone. Fire. Maybe they're scraping it. Connection failed. The numerous report has been discontinued. Okay. No. Sizable bill from the power company. Now is the time to continue your work. See, the romance index went down. Two for debugging. Go, 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 go. Transcription. Two for speculation. Let me sleep. You see black mold is collecting the computer equipment. 98%, 80%, 18%. This one should knock us up. Transcription. 2. Here we go. Let's see where this takes us. Might have to do it one more time. You pair a nutritional meal of boiled cave moss seasoned with a salty, translucent paste you've harvested at great risk, personal risk from stalactites. Now is the time to continue your work. 6. 100% realism. 88% romance. 20% mold coverage. Okay, so now we're on just on this romance part. Assign tasks. I'm just going to keep at the 2 per. Time passes, Greg fixed bugs, yada yada yada. Your habit of absent-mindedly chipping away at the cave crystals and sprinkling their dust in the air behind you has paid off. Just a few feet down of the tunnel blooms a small but kaleidoscope garden of crystals. Now is the time to continue your work. Research Assistant 6. Realism Index 100%. Romance Index 100%. Mold coverage 39%. I think I should have restarted. Maybe this one has to get to 100% as well. Intruders, finally they leave. Now's the time to continue your work. 99, 100, 0. We're restarting. That's not what we wanted. Don't be ridiculous.
Breaking ours right now, Jaden.
Didn't realize I was still muted. Shoot. How long? You really did go deeper into the caves. Well, you were easy enough to find. I've met a few of your former assistants. One can't help but hear things. So this is what became of our project. Oh, and I've made some additions. Joseph stole the data tapes for the first half, so I've had some blank spots to fill. Yeah, I know, he published his version, actually. Sorry to report that it's a bit tediously sentimental. We've been looking for you. Oh, good, yes, you're looking not well, to be honest. You smell like a distillery. Have you been drinking? Been looking for you. So you found the address data. Just pass it over to Donald here. Donald will be a dear and crunch these numbers. You're looking to sort out a street named Collision, Dogwood Drive. Wasn't the Bureau going to process it? I insist. I have cycles to spare. I'll just pack my pipe and get it to it. I should only be an hour, so Andrew will carry it over to you. I'll be at the Bureau for the rest of the night. The rest of the night. Just mark it private material for attention of Senior Clerk Chamberlain. How do we get to the Bureau from here? The bridge. Yes, the bridge. Through the gate over there. Now we too recede into history. Good night, Donald. Meet me at the Bureau, and we'll get you on your way. Head counterclockwise to the cathode ray, then turn around. Then it's just clockwise until you find the Bureau. Between us, I think you should drive. The gate is open. Someone has left a portable tape recorder on the path. Doesn't appear damaged, but there's no tape to play or record. Bookshelf was carried only part way up the path here before the project was abandoned. It's still useful. The peak of the spire is crowded anyway. Oh, the lantern. Sensible modern electric lantern has been left here. The batteries have long since died. Thanks for waiting, Homer. We were gone a bit longer than expected. Ran into some trouble, Homer. I won't to lie to you. I won't to lie to you? What happened up there? I'm actually not sure. Just a bunch of computers. Let's look at our notes here. Head counterclockwise to the cathode ray. Then turn around, then it's just clockwise until you find the Bureau. The rope. Children. Lamp. The rope. Thode ray. Then you go this way. Anchor. Bicycle. Feather. Cactus. Antlers. Scarecrow. We've been through some of this. I think we're coming up on it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, please click the circle in the middle to subscribe. The rectangle on your left is another video. The rectangle on your right is a playlist of other videos that you may enjoy. Thanks again. Peace.